Hello, sisters. Megan Lockhart here. I'm here to have a conversation with a fellow priestess sister of mine, Catalina. She is a priestess of the sacred waters of life. And we have been having a conversation about the Holy Trinity of the womb. We've been speaking about womb awakening, and we've been speaking about the blood mysteries. And so, in some of the work that she does here in the world, and one of her beautiful offerings that she has to offer is delving really deep into the blood mysteries. And so I feel like that is a really interesting topic for us to all know more about and explore. And I'm really new to the blood mysteries, and I've done a little bit of exploration in my own body, and I've felt the impact of that. And so this is a woman who has gone really deep and explored this, not from learning about it from textbooks or not from taking classes about it, but she's been doing her own exploration with the blood mysteries of just listening to Great Mother, getting really quiet, listening to her womb and communing with the blood. And so I just wanted to open up this conversation with her so that she can introduce what the blood mysteries are, first of all, because this might be new to you, sister. It's not something that there's readily available a lot of information about. So I know that it would be just really interesting to have you, Catalina, explain first, like, what are the blood mysteries?
I'd be more than happy to, Megan. Thank you for having me, and hello to all the sisters tuning in. So the blood mysteries are all the rites and rituals that arise around our moon time, around our menstruation. Okay, and all the wisdom and magic and power that also rises from that time. So the blood mystery is something that has been with us from time immemorial as women. There was a period of our Hirsch story where our moon blood was honored and used for benefit of herself, her family, her tribe, and then a lot went underground, forgotten, vilified, shamed, and as we begin to awaken collectively now to the importance of the divine feminine, and importance not only for us women, but for our world and the state of our planet, little by little, this has been stirring. This is what you've been remembering, and what sisters all over the world have been remembering. And when I received really clearly, I was called to that word by Mother and realized there was really nothing out there. There's little bits and pieces. And what I could access, because I know there are women that are currently, offering their moon blood to the earth or doing there are small rites and rituals that have survived, throughout, our patriarchy. But there was something about them that, even though it was coming from a place of honoring and sacredness, there was something about it that just felt dissonant for me. And I was called to really dive in and explore for myself what felt true, what was true around this. Mm-hmm. And this took me down the journey of a lifetime, to be completely honest, completely turn my world and catalyze my life. And that's why I share it, because I've been a spiritual seeker, Megan, since I was 16 years old. Like, I've done everything under the sun and some, right? And this literally has been the most powerful experience of my life. And I've done, again, plenty. I've done 8 years of ayahuasca. I've done shamanism. I've done energy healing and women's circle, all kinds of things. But this has had the power to, it's awakened my essence into my body. It has given me the power to rebirth her into this physical form. It has, awakened my intuition, my wisdom. It has the power to amplify. There's so much goodness in there. I think you're probably asking me more about that later, so I'm gonna leave it there. But what I realized was that we literally have magic flowing through our wombs every month, and it's going to waste. And we are being called, called very strongly by Mother to remember, because that's the magic we need to heal ourselves, to, and to use it to heal our world and to awaken this planet again. Like, it's all that's needed is right there. We literally hold the medicine that is needed right now, and we need to remember that, right? So that is what the blood mysteries are. And the other piece that's really important to understand, that even though you may find, references in textbooks. Like blood mysteries have arisen in specific times in history, and you will find it, in Egypt, in the Cathars, in Celtic lore, the Magdalene. Like there's references to it, and it has, in specific moments in time, it has resurfaced, to lend its aid, right? But each time, it came with a specific frequency that would serve that people, that culture, and that time. So even though we can go back into it as a reference and as a remembering, which is so valuable, ultimately, we're called right now to receive what's coming through right now, and how we can use that and give it a form that serves us as modern day women for the modern day planet we have. That's going to be different than what a red tent might have looked like, right? So none of us, no matter how much we long for it, can probably take 5 days off and go into a red tent. Like, it's just not, and staying stuck there is not helpful for anybody. That's not what we're being called to do. We're being called to receive the new frequency, understand what's available to us now. That is definitely a notch above what was available, 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, because in spite of all that we've done, we have evolved, we have access to higher frequencies now. So the blood mysteries are coming through at a new vibrational octave. That is super exciting. And I can't wait to share with all of you.
Yeah.
Good answer. Sorry. Passionate about this, as you can tell.
You get so vibrant. I love, like, whenever you speak about the blood mysteries, I just feel my cells activating because I can feel your excitement. There's a lot of richness in what you shared, and there's a few threads that I'd like to pull forward. And one of those is the first thread that I kind of was like, okay, I want to bring this into the conversation, is I see the blood mysteries as such an important, valuable link in reclaiming us as women, as magical beings, as reclaiming our bodies, because so much of, we carry so much shame. We talked about kind of like with our collective history of being disconnected from our bodies, or losing some of that womb wisdom or some of that womb awakening. And a lot of this has been around the shame of our blood, the shame of our moon time. And a lot of that is the fear that comes into this powerful time. And I think that showed up as a lot of shaming. And so we as women, I know I went through my own experience with this, of feeling so embarrassed by bleeding, so embarrassed. And I've had my own journey with this. And I think it's something that, happens to us women. And so it's like, I see this as, if we really want to embrace and accept ourselves and to really reclaim our bodies, I feel like coming at peace with and learning about how to reconceptualize this bleeding phase of our lives is like absolutely essential. And so that's one reason why I really wanted to bring this to the table, is for you to speak about it in such a different lensing as to how we're commonly and historically taught about it as women, from the time we're born up until now. All of the messages that we've seen, social media, movies, television, parents, conversation, all of those messages that we've collectively been feeling and receiving, that I love the way you speak about blood, because it can just flip it and create this really magical thing. And then that leads me into the next thread that I really want to kind of lead into this conversation. Is, in our last conversation, you said, when you do your moon blood offering, what is the consciousness that you do your ritual in? And I was like, what are you even talking about, Catalina? The consciousness that I'm in. And basically you were saying, I would love for you to speak more into your discovery of the consciousness of offering the blood, and what is really happening, because what is that consciousness actually? And I've really been thinking into that, and that really impacted and touched me. So I'd love for you to also share that with these things too.
Yeah. So as you said, we receive so much messaging, right? And on every single aspect. Part of my background is also, I'm a nurse. I was trained as a nurse midwife, worked as an OBGYN nurse for, 12 some years. So I have that background as well. And even in that, realm that we think is so factual and, research, there is so much mythology. And that's where, when I started this journey, I was like, you know what, I'm going to stop and make like none of this is true and look at everything from fresh eyes so that I can really just see what's actually true. Because we suppose so much, right? We take for truth so many things that we've been told throughout the years that aren't necessarily. And I realized that most of the stories we hold around our moon tide are completely false. And we've completely disconnected from the truth of that. What you refer to is one of like the common myths that is prevalent in not only in like mainstream media, but in the medical world and in the sacred feminine world, is that our moon time is a form of release. Mm-hmm. And even women that honor their cycles and offer it to the earth are usually, at least everybody I've come in contact with, and there's, that's a great many of women, even those who honor their moon time will offer it as a way of releasing, of letting go of things that no longer serve them, and allowing that to be composted into the earth. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Release is, a sacred aspect of the cycle of life and so tremendously necessary. But what I realized is that if you approach your moon time objectively and from your intuition, that there's no reason to make a link between release and your womb. Biologically, sisters, if you just connect for a moment, just very logically, what does your womb do? Like, what is her function? Her function is to create, nourish, and sustain life. Period. No pun intended. That's it. There is no releasing of anything. There's no detoxing. There's no biochemical substances that the body flushes through the uterus. It's not the kidneys. It's not your liver. It's not your colon. There is no physical clearing or detoxing of any kind. Okay? And energetically, it's the same thing. Our uterus, the only function it has is to condense our maternal love, our capacity for unconditional love, unconditional support, unconditional nurturance, condensed there to receive and nurture a life. Mm-hmm. It's not meant for release. Yes, if there is no physical life, that for that cycle, then all of that goodness is released. But not released because it's taken on anything negative. It's released as in, now it's a gift available to create life in another way. Mm-hmm. And I want you to really feel into the impact this has, because unfortunately, the viewing, even if it's sacred viewing of our moon blood as release, has a negative impact psychologically on us as women, because it continues to subconsciously send the message that our moon blood is dirty, toxic in some way. Mm-hmm. Even if we're honoring it, it's still kind of anchored into that belief that somehow, for some reason, this area of our body is unclean and shameful.
Yeah.
Right? So here's an invitation to really and don't take it from me. I don't want anybody to believe anything out of my mouth just because I say it. I want you to feel into your own womb and see what feels true and how you feel physically when you look at your moon blood as release and when you feel your moon blood as a life-giving gift that you can now use to create life, amplify love in some other way. Okay, it's like the same ritual of giving to the earth. It's different to grab different kinds of scraps from the kitchen and create compost. It's a loving act, right? But it's completely different than creating a sacred ritual to the earth where you're lovingly creating the richest cakes and fruits and flowers for the earth. Mm-hmm. It's the same act, but coming from a completely different vibrational point. And it changes things.
Yes.
Answer. Sorry, long-winded again.
It does. No, I love it. And something that I wanted to throw in there was my own personal experience with shifting the way I thought about my moon time as release to as life-giving, so that maybe some sisters can see just how that has impacted me personally. And so I really thought, I sat with the image of compost as, you know, your scraps of fruits and vegetables versus having maybe this delicious cornucopia of vibrant fruits and vegetables. And that really sat with me. And I thought about that and I was like, the vibrant cornucopia feels much better. I like that. And then so I was like, okay, how can I embody that vibrant cornucopia of fruits and vegetables and think about that as my moon time? And so the next time that I got my moon phase, when I got it, I had that image of the cornucopia come to me. And then I had this moment of, yes, I'm birthing life. And I just got like, awesome. I got so excited and I just felt really good. And I feel like in the past, when I viewed it more as a release, I've told myself to feel excited. And I've told myself to be like, this is sacred. And I've been like, oh, this is sacred. I'm excited that I got my moon phase. Woo! But it didn't feel as embodied. But then when I had that lensing shift, it was like all of a sudden I genuinely, on an embodied, energetic level, felt like, whoa, what am I giving birth to right now? This is so exciting. And so I feel like I was just really grateful for you for giving me that like little, just such a simple shift in perspective, and how that actually created a really tangible shift in my own being and how I can relate to that part of myself. So I just wanted to share that also, so you know that had a really big impact on me. And then also for some sisters watching this to know how maybe trying this lensing on could also have an impact on you.
Yeah, so that's one of the most powerful things I've found about the blood mysteries is that it's very kind of simple, small tweaks that create a huge impact on you. And so much of it, and I can so relate to that point of consciousness that you just mentioned. Like that was me before. I was like, before stepping into the blood mysteries, I would have told, yes, I honor my cycle. I was happy to get my moon time, and like I felt like I was connected to nature. I cycled with her, I was happy being a woman. But when you step into the blood mysteries fully, there is a depth and a richness it's like the difference of connecting to fall in a cubicle because fall is out there and it's true, and actually walking through the leaves and touching them, right? Like it's a completely different experience. Yeah. And one of the great gifts of the blood mystery is that it's tangible. It's a bodily experience. So it brings these concepts, these ideas, these energetics, and even the true energetic, connections that you have, right? But it allows you to anchor them down into physical form. And that is priceless. It just is, right?
Yeah.
And you start having when you clear away the patterning, when you're able to really grasp the truth, the power that is held there, and you bring that to rituals for your life, everything transforms. And you said it before, like there is no doubt in your mind that you are magical. Mm-hmm. When you partake of your moon blood and have an ayahuasca-like experience where you are transported, right, to different realms. When you anoint an intention and have it manifest by the end of the day, right? Like there's a real, tangible, felt result that you cannot explain away. You can't. And then all those stories of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, they're just blown up. Like there's no need to wrestle with them. Like there's no doubt in any cell of your being that, yes, I am magical. And so are you and every sister out there. We're just in the process of remembering that, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like a short way through all that BS, right? All of those woundings, all of those things that we carry as women, we can attack them on like from the sides, kind of chop at them, right, through different things, or we can go straight to the core and reclaim that our essence as women is magical and beautiful and love, and everything else just dissolves.
Yes. And I'm hearing that taking it from that mental understanding to that embodied understanding of being magical, that blood has been, and you know, being in those rites with the blood has actually been such a part of the tool of being able to experience those deeper level of consciousness experience of being blasted open and knowing, going from knowing to embodying. And that I'm hearing that blood is the vehicle and the transporter into that aspect of self.
So for many, you can equivalent it as think of it as our plant medicine coming from the tree of life of our energetic system.
It's like our maple syrup.
It's like our ayahuasca or our peyote or our, you know, mushrooms. That's what it is. More than maple syrup. I mean, it's more than sweet. It is sweet actually, but it's more than that. It's our medicine. You know, and it's vast and rich, and it can take many forms depending on your intention and your energetics. But yeah, it's the medicine for our times.
And can you walk us through one simple yet potent ritual that you could do with blood that would help us to experience this ayahuasca-like experience that you're speaking of? Because it sounds really beautiful and incredible, and I'm sure some sisters are like, I want that. That sounds awesome.
That ayahuasca class experience it's a little bit more than we can do on this video, because that's the high holy rite of sangria. Like that's the highest of rites, and it takes, you know, some, you know, coaching and support to get there, and to actually have the experience you want, because it does require some energetic activations. But
maybe more of a nice beginners, even if we take the offering, the moon blood offering, because that's such a common practice that a lot of women do. How could you, aligning with what you've been exploring in your own practice, how could a sister go through that?
Yeah, so I'll walk you through it, and if you like, I'll give you a link that you can place on your page for a free ritual. Okay, where you'll kind of go through step by step of how to offer, you know, your moon blood to the earth. Okay,
that sounds wonderful. Yeah.
So the first step is to really, you know, you need to collect your moon blood first of all. And this is another conversation, but you need to collect your moon blood. Once you have it, you need to create some time to go outside. And the first thing is to feel into where it wants to be offered, what place on the earth is ready to receive your moon blood. So you want to ask permission of the earth, connect to what place feels right, and it's intuition. So just feel where it feels in alignment to do that. Once you have that, the other thing that's a good practice is when offering to plant or the earth is ideally to dilute. So our moon blood is very rich and very powerful. So depending on the plant life that is kind of falling into, it might be overpowering. So if you can dilute with a little bit of water, that allows the earth to really, and the plants there to really absorb all the nutrients that are there without it overpowering them. Then you would, you know, create your sacred space. You can have candles, you can have drumming, you can have flower petals, or it could just be you and your moon cup. Like it doesn't have to be more complex than that. And then you know, connect, you know, I usually just hold my moon blood and place a hand on my womb, you know, empty out, and really connect to this truth that your moon blood is all of your body's resources that have been, all the richness of your body condensed into this lining. You know, your body has worked for a full cycle to, you know, create this rich, you know, luscious bed that is there to receive your child, right? There to nurture it for 9 months, rich with stem cells, with all kinds of biochemical goodness, just to receive nurture and thrive, for life to thrive. So connecting into that truth, connecting into the energetic truth that this is also the condensation of your energy as a mother, even if you've never been a mother, that capacity to love unconditionally, to nurture, to sustain, it gets kind of meshed in there, right? That's all your unconditional love and support is right there in that fluid, in those cells. So connecting to that truth, then you connect with the earth. You can place a hand on Mama Earth and just connect with the gratitude we feel for her. You know, we're here thanks to her. She feeds us, she holds us, she sustains us, she's our mother, and she does that unconditionally. And here we have this beautiful opportunity to return that love, right? It's like closing of that circuitry of love. And that's also part of the beauty of this ritual, is that it allows us to come into that reciprocity with her. Yes, we receive so much, and we, thankfully, joyfully, gift our own magic. That's what it is. We're gifting, not our relief, not our, scraps. We're gifting her our own magic, our own capacity to give life and nurture, for her healing, for her nurturance, for her support. Mm-hmm. And pour it in. You pour in your prayers, maybe sing a song. You can embellish there according to your heart's intuition. Ritual is always a really personal thing, but those are the key points that can help you transfer, and just open to receiving what happens. Because for myself, there's always, again, this feeling of immense love and connection that happens with the earth as we close that circuitry, because we're always receiving and really never giving back, right? Here's this beautiful opportunity to give back.
Yeah. Give back to our earth mother.
Yes. And another simple ritual is anointing, and you can do this intuitively. Again, from that point, most important thing is to have that point of consciousness of really understanding what it is that you have in your hands when you're working with your blood. Mm. You can maybe place a dab on your third eye before going to bed, or any chakra, any point of your body that feels like it needs a little nurturance, love, support. Mm. That's another simple way.
Just this sentence that came to me is just like this powerful elixir of life. Just like anointing. Yeah.
And if you're open enough, and if you feel it, it's immediate. You feel the power that is there with just a drop. That's all that's needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yes. And so if this conversation is really exciting some sisters, I know that you have some offerings in order for them to be able to go deeper with you, to receive some mentorship. So could you speak about some ways that if a sister is like, okay, I see that there could be benefit in my life, but I have no idea really what to do beyond these rituals that you've just given me. Or maybe I'm a little bit scared. This is a little bit strange. How could she receive some support from you?
Yeah. So what I would say is just book a discovery call with me. We'll have a conversation around where you're at, what's calling you, and how I can support you. I have this amazing program for spiritual women that are ready to really dive into this and transform their lives. Okay. And it's a 3-month program. It's one-on-one sessions, and an online course that basically walks you through the practicalities and the energetic principles behind these rituals and a bunch of other ones, right? Because I'm part of, my calling is empowering women, and your call, how you work with your blood is very intimate and personal. So I'm here to give you like the map, so that you understand like the kind of the basic rules of the game, but for you to mix and match and create to your heart and womb's desire, so that it fits your life and it fits your soul journey. So I give you all of that, so that you will feel like a blood mysteries expert by the end, and have all the tools you need to continue exploring, because it's, every moon you're called to do different things and tweak different things, and you get everything you need to do that. And for those sisters that are feeling a little ambivalent, know that that's normal. Like, there's nobody that steps into the blood mysteries without feeling that kind of pushback, right? Again, our moon blood has been taboo for so long. And even if our mind is completely on board, like, there's programs in our cells that are going to come up and say, hey, no, like this is just weird or disgusting, or you crazy? Or like, what's your, your partner going to think, or your sister, or your mother, or your neighbor? Like, I can't tell anybody about this. Like, there's all these programs that come up, right? But that's all the beauty of it, because this is a fast track way of getting rid of all of that. I can tell you that the moment you're drinking your own moon blood, all those stories of, oh, what will somebody else think? You don't give a shit. Like, no, you just don't.
I love that.
If I'm able to sit here and tell you this, like those stories, not that I didn't have them, I had plenty.
Yeah.
And I had to work through all of them. It's not easy. But instead of it taking me 10 years, in a few months, I was like, okay, I'm out of the closet, I'm good. And now if I can do this, like, if I didn't, I don't know, answer somebody or say something somebody didn't like, or it just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. And I think that's why mentorship is so important, because you've been through that, you've experienced that. And so for a sister who's wanting this too, to see where you're at right now, it's like, sometimes it's easy to look at people that we're like, okay, I want to be where she is. And then it's nice to know, like, oh, she's been exactly where I am right now too. And so to have that mentorship can be absolutely invaluable, to just be like, you've been through the process. And so to be able to lovingly be with a sister who's having those things, because I've had some of those things come up for me too. And they're initiations.
They're hard, but it's also natural. And there's no, like, that's where we're at and what we're going through. And we're not alone. We're doing it all together.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've loved this conversation. It's felt very enlivening and enlightening to me. Is there anything else that you would like to share before parting this conversation?
Sisters, you are all whole, worthy, lovable, and infinitely magical. Just remember that. You are magical, and your moon time is magical. So yeah, that's it. Remember that you are magical.
Thank you so much for this conversation and for that message. Definitely receiving that in my heart.
Okay. Say goodbye then. All right. Goodbye, sisters. Thank you for being here in this beautiful conversation. So much love and many blessings.
Thank you. And yes, we'll leave the link for how to connect with Catalina. I've just lost my words now.
Bye.